Hello, everyone. I just wanted to go live today for a little bit just to go over some of the emails that we got, let you know what we're doing for indoor dining and restaurants, and for Monday's, some information on Monday's presser. So let's talk about the zones. As far as the zone goes, the other day the governor said that gyms and salons inside the orange zones can open up. Now, there was a little bit of confusion on who could do what, or we're going to have to do mandatory testing. So we went and we got some clarification on that. It's up on the governor's site now, where it just shows that gyms do not have to be tested. That is set for the salons. They were getting tested bi-weekly. Now they have to get tested weekly. Gyms went from 33% to 25%. So I guess it's like a half a person. That makes no sense, but you can now, operate at 25%. However, if you are still in the five boroughs in the city and Staten Island and you perform indoor fitness classes, you cannot open. You still cannot open. That's not what that presser was about. That's not what those new restrictions or new rules were about. You're still closed in those areas. So we had a bunch of people email us. We saw a lot of advertising. Even a couple of news reporters were reporting that now jiu-jitsu classes and all sorts of things can open up in Staten Island. No, you can't. Whether you decide to or not, that's on you. But you can't. If you're in the orange zone and you're a class and you do fitness classes, you still can't open in those zones. What are we doing about that? We are trying to get an answer from de Blasio's office to see if there's any reason before we have to file an appeal or go after the decision by Staten Island judge, both which we will do next week if we don't hear from de Blasio's team on Monday. Given the new information and new data that Governor Cuomo released at being 0.06%, being that we can now even open up in the orange zones, there's no reason that indoor fitness classes inside the city and Staten Island and the boroughs should be closed. None. He cannot use the argument for the schools and the inspectors because that's no longer true. He cannot use an argument about safety, density, population, or any of that stuff because, again, that's not true either. So we're hopeful that he just turns around and says, in light of the new evidence and the new data, that we're going to open them up. If not, we will follow through with an appeal and go directly after the decision by the Staten Island judge based off of some of the decisions that have challenged Jacobson, as well as the new information and data that was released. So that's what we'll be doing as far as the zones go. Now, here's part of the problem. On Monday, the governor is going to talk about changing the zones. So before we all get too excited, I wouldn't be too surprised to see if he turns the orange zones into red zones. And he has said that that's going to be based off of hospital capacity in a time frame of 21 days. So where the hospital would be in 21 days if the numbers kept on going up. And that's how he's going to determine those zones. So there's good likelihood that if you're in an orange zone now, that we could see that orange zone turn to red. And if that's the case, then every non-essential business is shut in the red zones. And currently, we are not considered an essential business. The United States Fitness Coalition, which you guys are well aware of, is fighting to get that changed. But as of today, we are considered non-essential still. So we're going to want to pay attention to his presser on Monday and see where he's going to change these zones yet again. Our federal lawsuit. Our federal lawsuit is filed. It's filed upstate and in Syracuse. I spoke briefly yesterday about that family and some of the problems that the family was having. Not necessarily with the media, but the media did swarm their home and were all over them. But more or less from the comments from people that were upset that they filed a federal lawsuit. It's important to remember that it's not just them that's on that federal lawsuit. It's every small business, the restaurants, the gyms, the nail salons, bars, restaurants, entertainment, Broadway, off Broadway. It's also for any New Yorker who's been affected, whether you've been laid off, your job is closed down, you know, indoor dining in the city, those restaurants being closed, that affects all those employees. That affects people who are going to be getting bonuses, Christmas bonuses. We had phone calls and emails yesterday. The phone calls were, families and people crying because they weren't going to be able to buy presents for their kids because they were relying on the bonuses and tips. Um, so as the governor continues to close things down, he really isn't thinking about the people that he's affecting with these decisions, especially since indoor dining and restaurants were so low in an infection rate when 74% is coming from living room experiences. So why is any small business being closed at this point? Honestly, I don't know. And I'm not too sure he does either. And when he tried to answer some of those questions in the presser, he had to kind of relay it off to his team, and they're all scrambling for answers. That's why he was talking about going after the Fed for the stimulus package, which apparently we're just never going to get. So as he's doing these decisions, remember that's what the federal lawsuit is for, that these arbitrary decisions and the millions of people who are being affected by them, our governor is not taking that into any consideration at all. We know how to protect our patrons. We know how to protect ourselves. We're doing that. It's seen in the numbers. It's seen in the contact tracing that we're doing. So it's important to remember that we're with this family. We're with that business, and they need our support. We're going to post the family's business on our page for you guys to leave whatever comments, and you can monitor it when anything is released as far as press, so that we could be there for them. We spoke to them a few times yesterday. I spoke to them again this morning. They're doing much better today after we spoke with them. We did a press release for them in that area to try to take some of the heat off of them, because I just felt terrible that, it's their name on this lawsuit, and they're really representing all of us. It just happens to be their name. So we had to make that clear to the news outlets up there, and it seems like that kind of worked a little bit. So we're going to do that. We're also going to be releasing our new GoFundMe, which will be for the federal case. And we're going to ask everybody to share that. The burden no longer just falls on the fitness industry. This is for everybody now. So we're going to be looking and leaning on the restaurants, the entertainment industry, the bars, nail salons, hair salons, basically everybody out there who wants to be able to contribute. We filed in federal court for a reason. We filed in federal court in case if we lost, or even if we won and then we lost an appeal, that we have the ability to take it all the way up to the Supreme Court, where it seems that these cases in every state, that's kind of where they're going. So we're going to be releasing that too, and we're going to be asking that everybody share that with all their members, friends, and family, because again, this just isn't about the fitness industry anymore. This is the one that we all need. This is the one that can change things, because every injunction seems to be met with something else. So great, orange zone gyms can open. What happens if he turns those zones red? Now what do? Do we put another injunction in for that? We're still trying to fight the appeal for indoor fitness. So it's just becoming a lot. So really everything is about this federal case. As far as indoor dining goes, we will be filing a TRO on Monday. A TRO is basically asking for an immediate decision. So we're hopeful that would be heard in front of a judge on Tuesday. Again, based off of the facts, the science, and the data, to have indoor dining closed without taking into consideration how many businesses are going to close up, 70% of the restaurants that are existing right now would close. How many people are going to be laid off? How many families are going to be affected by it? For that low of an infection rate, for what they think they know. Again, it is very, very difficult to contact trace one person back to a place. And the governor's answers to, well, how do you come up with these numbers? They're just, it doesn't even make any sense. Okay. We know from the Department of Health that it takes 2 people or more from a single place to show that's where you got COVID from. So to ask people, or if people are calling the Department of Health and they're saying on a Friday, yes, I went to Target, I went to Walmart, I went to the supermarket, I went to the gas station, 7-Eleven, I went to my gym, we went out to a restaurant, then we went to a bar to go. How do you know that that's where anybody got this stuff from? So we're still not allowed to see the actual science behind it. All we're seeing is numbers. And he had to show us those numbers because we're putting a lot of pressure on him. But all it is numbers. So gyms are 0.06%. And he took those numbers from September to now. We just got opened in September. So what was the starting number in September? And how did you get anything before that? How did you get a starting number? Right? Where did that come from? We have no answers. Can we see what the number was in September? Same thing for indoor dining. What was the number in September? Where were you basing those numbers off of for indoor dining in the city? Indoor dining in the city has been, decimated as it is, and the weather's been cold. So where are you getting these numbers from? And why is it just the city? So we need to see those numbers. So we'll also be filing a FOIL. A FOIL is a Freedom of Information. So we're going to be doing that on behalf of the gyms and the restaurants as well. So we will now need to see all these numbers. We need to see what is going on. And this has been awarded in California. California is being requested by judges now to show that information. Because again, you're just arbitrarily coming on and saying this is what it is. And we're all supposed to just fall in line and say, yes, sir. Yes, it is. Yep. Yes, it is. But we actually need to see it. We're not talking about the JFK assassination here. We just want to see the numbers and where did you pull them from? You should have nothing to hide. These should be the numbers we have, not today is 285. And, no, show us the numbers that affect everyone instead of just telling us what you think we want to hear. So that's what we'll be doing for the indoor dining and for the gyms. Our fundraising event, that's going to happen on Wednesday. I will release the workout for everybody. That'll come tomorrow. And we ask that you share that with everybody. And we're just looking if you could charge every member when they come in $5 and then donate that to the Gofundme. That'll go a long way. If anybody has any other further fundraising events and ideas, please let us know. So that's what we're going to be doing with our sweat event, and that'll be on the 15th. We'll keep on coming. We'll keep you guys posted, but continue to operate your business with the same protocols. Keep on calling the Department of Health if anyone comes in, if anyone tests positive. If you need any answers on that stuff or how to move forward with that, please let us know, because we don't want to be caught in a situation where we're caught not reporting these things. Please continue to send in your numbers of your check-ins, because we are going to update the site. We're going to try to update the site every couple of weeks instead of every couple of days or every week. We'll try to do it every couple of days. All right, guys, everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you on Monday.